Okay, good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this library board meeting to order Wednesday, May 13th, 2026 at 9 a.m. Looking for the approval of the agenda for today's meeting, 2026. Do I have a mover and seconder? Helena moves, seconded by Sydney. Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Anyone have a pecuniary interest they wish to declare at this time? I don't think we've ever had anyone, have we? No? Well, there you go. All right, we're keeping it consistent. Minutes of the previous meeting. Looking for a mover and seconder from our previous meeting of April the 15th, 2026 be adopted as circulated. Moved by John, seconded by Jane. Any questions regarding those minutes? Not seeing any. All in favor? Carried. Okay, up next is presentations. So, Jenny, we have you here to present the 2026 project overview. The floor is yours. And you can have as long as you want.
Don't tell me that.
I never said that to anyone before, right?
Okay, so thank you all very much. Today I'm going to talk to you a bit about my role, some of the accomplishments for the library since I last presented, along with a few of the projects that I'm going to be helping to move forward this year. Next slide. Although you have met pretty much everybody on the leadership team, I'd like to just take a moment to acknowledge their important role in the work that I'm going to be presenting today. These projects are all a team effort and could not be completed by just one person. The library leadership team includes administrative staff and branch managers. We meet as a group quarterly, virtually in the winter and spring, and in person in September and December when we're starting to plan for the upcoming year. So of course we have Beth, there's myself, and then Kelly Grieg, you may not have met. She is our office manager and really is the backbone of a lot of the projects that you see. She helps out with purchasing, coordinating, organizing. She is a big part of the team. Next slide. And of course, Katie, who spoke to you last month, and Jim Seal, our programming and community engagement coordinator, and Amy Zudout, our marketing and branding coordinator. Next slide. And then the branch managers of the team. A lot of the projects that I'm talking about, I'll be speaking to them as an administrative part of the project, but as I said, all of these projects are happening at the branches, and so a huge part of the coordination, the management of some of these, especially with the spaces. I might be purchasing the items, kind of coordinating, helping figure out what's in there, but the managers are really putting a lot of those pieces together at the end, as well as managing the public as these projects are going on. So we have Michelle Carter, Krista Lennon, Trina Huffman, Tanis Vandermolen, and Danielle Goderich. Next. So my role in the library, it really requires me to put a lot of project pieces together. And I think a big part of that is helping library staff to see the bigger picture. A lot of times, everybody is looking at their individual roles. They're focused on what they need to be doing in the moment to move their items forward. And if I can help them see why we're doing some of the projects that we are, then it's going to make it a lot easier. Nobody likes change. And so I help with that change management piece as well. My main areas of responsibility include the health and safety, the staff hiring, onboarding, and support. Of course, that's in conjunction with HR, professional development and training, physical library projects, and administration. So there's a lot that's been going on with health and safety lately. A few of the standard practices of my role are monitoring the monthly branch inspection reports. We have our frontline staff. There is a rep who will do the inspection for each branch, and then they forward us those reports. So I monitor if there's anything that needs to be brought forward to the Joint Health and Safety Committee that meets quarterly. I'm also responsible for ensuring our staff are trained in first aid. Again, a big part of this is managed by our office manager, who does the booking of the first aid, coordinates everyone. And we have a rotation for training, so that helps spread out those first aid costs over 3 years. We just rotate people through. Something new that we've been doing the past couple of years is the crime prevention through environmental design. Those are safety assessments that are done by the OPP. Last year we did Goderich and Clinton, and we did those in July to help inform if there's anything that we needed to be getting for the branches in 2026. This year we are looking at doing security cameras. We'll do that in Goderich for this year. For the summer, we will also be doing the Alice Monroe branch in Wingham, Hensel, and Seaforth. And that'll be happening in June and July. Our naloxone was due to expire this April. And so we replenished that stock, and we took that opportunity to retrain staff on administering naloxone. And that will become sort of a biannual thing that happens as the naloxone needs to be replenished. Since we've implemented naloxone in our first aid kits in 2024, the branches have had 3 close calls and 1 instance where it was needed to be administered for life-saving measures. There will be a report coming out later in the upcoming months that has some more of the specifics of that. And one other thing to note, we've moved them out of the first aid kits and put them into the AED boxes. It just makes it a bit more accessible for anybody. The naloxone is available for anyone. A member of the public can use it on a friend. Staff do have the option. They do not have to administer naloxone. It is an option. Of course, they would be calling the paramedics, but it is available for anybody to use if needed. Next slide. A lot of my time goes into library staff hiring, onboarding, and managing and supporting the 15 staff that report directly to me. I meet with my administrative staff weekly to discuss projects and help keep moving those forward. And I meet bi-weekly with branch managers to help support them through staffing and branch and public concerns. Although the relief staff report directly to me, they are primarily overseen by the branch managers of the branches that they are working in, and it's only larger issues that will usually come directly to me. Currently, we're in the process of hiring more relief staff. We've just finished up hiring the summer literacy students. We're in the process of van driver, and East Team has now hired a new branch assistant as well, who started yesterday. Next slide. So one of my roles is also to facilitate professional development and training for staff, and this involves reviewing training requests as well as reaching out to individuals with opportunities that align with their objectives and goals, as well as the system's objectives and goals. As a system, staff are trained on how to handle the unique needs of marginalized members of the community through the Ryan Dowd homelessness training for librarians. That's something that we've been doing for quite a number of years now, and new content continually comes out through Niche Academy. In 2024, all staff received microaggression and implicit bias training through our Niche Academy training, or Niche Academy platform as well. That one was done a little differently. We used Niche Academy to sort of build our own in-house training with materials that we had available, and created multiple week training series for staff to do. There have been the annual conferences such as the OLA Super Conference and a RUPLO conference where staff have the opportunity to learn about the latest trends and practices that are happening in the library world. And then in 2025, all staff received emotional intelligence training, and I'm going to speak more about that in the next slide. So emotional intelligence, this is something that's being talked about more and more in workplaces because staff that are building their emotional intelligence it's going to help with strengthening relationships, improving their communication, helping with decisions that are being made. It's better teamwork, greater resilience, and just overall helping to build a more positive workplace culture. We were lucky enough to have Shairoz Mohammed, who has experience and expertise from her previous career in HR. She helped to build this for us in-house, and we rolled it out, excuse me, in person to the team meetings, and teams were able to learn about HR, EI through those, and it involved self-awareness and then also managing people. So the first part of the training was kind of understanding how you were reacting to other people, and then second part of the training was sort of how you were relating with others and working together. It's really helped us build a common vocabulary for how we are handling our interpersonal day-to-day relationships, not just at work, but people started to realize as we were talking, it rolled out into their entire lives, the personal and at work. Yeah, and we've been seeing some positive changes from that. So some of the recent physical library projects that I've worked on this year include the Clinton Refresh, which is pictured here. And you've heard about that one. It did wrap up in March with the paint and carpet that was completed that has really helped to brighten the space. And it's fantastic to see that building get a little bit of love, and it's been very well received by patrons. The Seaforth refresh, that flip happened last summer, and the OGS collection was moved there. We're in the process of moving microfilm there. Some of it's happening today, actually, and then by the end of the month, we should have the microfilm reader there, and that completes some of that project as well. In addition, we've had McCall McBain gaming computers were purchased at the end of last year and installed the beginning of this year. That was at Brussels, Exeter, Goderich, and Seaforth. The information services was the lead and did a big part of that work. That is being finished up with me in taking care of that, as well as some of the physical teen spaces that we're working on. We're purchasing and starting to roll that out. So I encourage any of you to visit those branches in the next upcoming months. It's not completely complete yet, but we are getting there with creating those spaces for youth. Part of that with the youth spaces is asking them, what do you want? What are you looking for? Exeter has created a teen advisory group that is helping with that. They also, we have a partnership with the Well, and starting to ask what is it that teens are wanting to see in their spaces. Also, what do they love about living in this area? and why do they want to stay here? And that's going to help inform us of what they are looking for in our spaces. We are starting the Hensel refresh as well. A lot of that this year is just going to be doing that SEPTED safety assessment and starting to look at what the needs. We'll do a space audit as well for that area. But that branch has been painted. It was done in early April. And we were able to do a quick little turnaround with that one, moved all the books and everything. We got the branch painted and that has really refreshed it as well. I've already mentioned that we will be getting a security camera in the Goderich branch. It has one on the outside already. This is inside. We have had some equipment that has gone missing or has been vandalized. So this will provide staff an ability to see other parts of the branch. Especially with that one, there's so many different levels and things to see. Seaforth branch, we're going to be adding a security door in the office area. It's going to provide a couple of, we call it a security door because it will provide staff with the space if something is going on and they need to get themselves removed from that front part. They'll be able to shut that door, but it also is going to give staff more privacy and a spot to be. That office is right part of the front, and Jane is laughing, right at the front by the circulation desk. So if there's really isn't a space for staff to be able to take a break or have their lunch or anything without people staring them down. So it is a way for them to remove themselves from the front desk and get the break that they need. The branch public printing software, that was also a part of the information services librarians plan for this year. We are looking at going forward with that, and hopefully it'll stay on target for the fall. It's something that we will need to do as more of the branches are going onto the county network. This is how we'll be able to manage the public printing piece of that in order to keep our network safe in terms of cybersecurity. Katie talked a bit about the film move during her presentation last month. And as I said, that will be going forward and should be completed by the end of May. And Seaforth will then have the microfilm reader there. And then I am part of the period positivity task force, and we're continuing to get more and more products with that. We did receive a large grant through the Shoppers Drug Mart Foundation, and for both Huron and Perth, we were able to purchase a huge amount of period products, which will sustain us for a little while. And we continue to get donations from the public for that as well. So just a few of the pieces, I'm not going to bore you with this too much, but the administration side of things, we did create a branch and patron feedback form. This is a spreadsheet that is on our OneDrive cloud. So all staff members are able to access it and they input information from the branch. So it's incredibly helpful for those of us working administratively to be able to see what's happening at the branch. We can start to spot trends. We can know we can see if there are issues. A lot of the quotes that you see in your library board report, those will come from that as well. We're always continuing to update the staff manual, and we are getting to the point where that's more of a maintenance piece as opposed to a full overhaul. This year on the docket, we have point of service payment. It's a Square. We have purchased those for the town branches and Bayfield, and there will be the option for the smaller branches. They'll be able to input credit card or debit information online for patrons as well. So the office manager is the lead on that right now. She is working on helping with the museum square getting herself familiarized with it, and then we'll be rolling that out. Goderich will be the pilot for that initially to sort of test it out at one branch before we roll it out to everybody. This will be a big change, so we always try and do that gradually for staff. And another bit of cleanup piece is the newspaper storage and retention. We have a lot of the local newspapers, and since COVID, we had been collecting them all, but we didn't have a good idea. We lost quite a few of them at admin to some mice. So we were trying to gather all of the newspapers, making sure that we had what we needed and if there are any gaps in those papers. And once we have those organized, then in future years, we'll look ahead to getting those microfilmed or digitized. And that is it for me.
Well, thank you. Do we have any questions for Jenny? John?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just back to the naloxone kits that you've put available, but always have one for your employees
Yeah.
after you use one if to a patron, because if they come up, you don't know if they have a needle and stuff like that. They could stab you. We've done this practice with the fire department. Always cover our backs just in case. You never know the unexpected.
That is
And part of the training, I'm sure.
yeah, that is part of the training, that unpredictability of how somebody is going to wake up
Yep.
and recover from that. I know the kits do have the two in there. I know the one instance they were close to thinking that they needed to use the second one. And then they were able to come around, but thank you for that. We can add that in.
Other than that, great report. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? I like the availability of people being able to share their thoughts on what makes a place welcoming and what is great about living in Huron County.
Yeah.
Right. So some of the comments, I just wrote them down, was a welcome mat or a welcoming banner. And I find that interesting and very important now, with maybe even the sign that we see out on Highway 21. And I've received a lot of complaints about that sign, even though it's not in my jurisdiction, but it makes me think, how do we, not really fight against that sign, but we want to be a welcoming community. So is it something simple as a welcoming banner as you're coming into municipalities to let people know that they are welcome?
Yeah.
Like if that's what it takes, then let's do it. Right. And this is coming from our younger generation, right, that are saying this. The other thing is, what is great about living in Huron County? It's a chill town. So that's, good lingo, right? Cool people. It's a fun place, how pretty it is. And, there was a few that said the library. So that's their place where they go to feel safe and learn and feel comfortable, right? It's a place of comfort, right? And that's important. There was one comment that says it's fire. So that must be something, a new teenage thing as well. I don't know, but
It means it's
it's a good thing. It's hot, right? Okay, there you go. But anyways, yeah, I always enjoy seeing those comments, and we have to take those comments to heart as well, as the somewhat older generation of how our youth feel. So thank you for that. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Helena?
I'd like to follow up because I'm chair of the Huron Welcome Hub for newcomers. And newcomers very consistently say that Huron is very welcoming.
Mm.
And that guy will say he got negative comments in his previous location, in Huron County, not.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, because I do believe the same thing, Helena, that overall it's a higher percentage that do feel welcoming, right? So,
And they list the library as the best government service of all.
really?
Yes.
Well, there you go. That must be because of all the wonderful staff, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll look to the recommended motion that we receive this presentation for information. Do we have a mover, please? Patricia moves, seconded by Nick. I'll get Nick on the docket. Okay. All in favor? Carried. Perfect. Up next is board member comments. Does any board member have any comments they wish to make at this time? Not seeing any hands. Okay, we'll move forward to, okay, go ahead, Alina.
I was thinking is we don't have library board meeting every month.
Mhm.
And I really appreciate them, but maybe the missing meetings, the months that we don't have meetings should be seeding and harvest. Just something to think about.
Like as far as seasonally.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I may, we've kind of, over the course of the year, or not the course of the past several years, we've decreased the number of meetings that we have just because the Public Libraries Act changed the requirement. So we've looked a little bit at when we typically have business coming forward. So there's things like we definitely want to be having our December and January meetings for budget purposes. It is often good to touch base a little bit over the summer. I know a lot of library boards do take the full summer off. We've kept an August meeting so that we don't go too many months in a row without a meeting. But it is always up for suggestion if we think we need to look at a different cadence, but that's kind of where we have settled at for now, to not have the February meeting, the July meeting, or the September meeting.
Mhm.
September's harvest.
Any other comments from board members? Not seeing any hands. Okay, we'll move on to reports from library staff. So the first one is the library legacy document question. Beth, please.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. This is just part of the series that we've been going through. So thank you again for the responses that were received. It's really nice to see kind of what's coming forward and what we can share with the incoming board. And just a reminder that I'm hoping to start to pull together responses from question 4 starting next week. So I think I've got 4, maybe 5 responses right now. So if anyone did want to just leave some final remarks for the incoming board, you have the next few days to do so. And if you want me to resend that link, just let me know. I think I sent an email last week with it as well.
I'm pretty proud of myself. I filled it out the other day. Yeah, it's probably pretty obvious that it was coming from me too. So I can't even say it was anonymous. Yeah. Does anyone else, any questions or comments regarding that for Beth? Not seeing any hands. Okay, I'll look to the recommended motion that the library board receives the report as presented for information. Do I have a mover? Moved by Helena, seconded by Sydney. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Up next is Center for Free Expression report on censorship. Beth Rumble, please.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. This is being shared with the library board for information purposes. I think it's important for you folks to kind of be aware, given that intellectual freedom is such a core tenet of librarianship. So wanting to make sure that everyone was knowledgeable of what the current state of kind of requests for reconsideration look like throughout the country.
Okay, any questions or comments for Beth? Not seeing any hands. Okay, I'll look for a mover and seconder that the library board receives the report as presented for information. Do I have a mover? Moved by Jane, seconded by John. Okay, all in favor? Carried. And up next is the monthly update, March 26th, presented by Jenny.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. The main things to highlight for the month of March, obviously March break, there were a lot of activities. You can see a list of the things that is not a comprehensive list of what was happening in the branches. It was really just a few of the highlights, but there was a lot that was going on that week. There's the craft swap that was happening that was facilitated by West Team staff, but it was a county-wide program. And that is always popular and looked forward to every year. It continues to grow. Seaforth had its first after hours for teens night, and 58 attended that. It was a fantastic evening. Yeah, they travel, they come in. It's an amazing space. Of course, that was facilitated by Danica, our teen programming coordinator and Jim Seal, and sort of using the template that was created by the South team and Exeter, and that was done in partnership with the Tanner Stuffler Foundation. I've already mentioned the teen advisory group that has begun meeting monthly in Exeter and will continue to inform us on topics going forward. Even though it's Exeter specific, we are trying to extrapolate some of that information out to the other branches as well. And the youth programming coordinator is also starting to go out to high schools and talk directly as part of the LTC work that's being done. The paint and carpet, Clinton's got completed, and then we were pleasantly surprised. Goderich received carpet as well, so that happened all in the same week. And the municipality came in and just got it done. Did the carpeting. Later on in the month, they actually did the downstairs as well, and are currently working on the staff office for that branch. So it's great to see the branch is getting spruced up. And then we have introduced radon detectors into the branch. We were getting a lot of requests for that from patrons. We've purchased 5 so far, but if we find that we're not quite certain how much uptake there will be on it. If we're finding that there's too many holds for that or too long of a wait, then we can add more to the collection as needed. So
Okay.
that is it.
Tell me a little bit more about this teen advisory board. Is this like it's in Exeter?
In Exeter,
And
yeah.
is it created by the library, like for a sign up? Okay.
Yeah, so it's just inviting them into the space. It's happening on Wednesdays. And of course they get fed. They're receiving volunteer hours
Okay.
for that
Well,
as well.
yeah.
And I don't have a lot of the specifics of what's being asked or how that's facilitated every week, but it is asking them for input.
okay. Is it possible to receive a staff report in regards to maybe some of that information for the board, just to know a little more about it?
I think too, Trevor, information that will be coming forward in the fall to the
Okay.
library board
Yeah.
is the library's transforming communities formula that we follow is focusing on conversations with youth this
Yeah.
year. So they've just started those this
Okay.
month. And that's speaking to youth across the county. So once they have all of those conversations, they create a narrative and again, further information.
Right.
And that'll come to council,
Okay.
county council as well.
Yeah, because I know food insecurity is a big thing. So it's nice to see that there is some food there for them to have. And then volunteer hours, well, it's a good opportunity to earn volunteer hours by doing something different as well,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, amazing. Okay. Any questions or comments for Jenny? Jane?
I just wanted to comment of the Seaforth experience. The library staff who went back in Saturday morning said the place was immaculate. So 58 kids,
Mhm.
whatever they
Oh, yeah.
had and whatever they ate, everything was cleaned up, and that the staff were just delighted with that experience.
I should maybe take my 22-year-old in there. Yeah, good comment. Thank you for sharing. Any other questions or comments? No? Okay, we'll move to the motion that we receive the report as presented for information. Do I have a mover and seconder? Moved by Warden Heffer, seconded by Helena. All in favor? Carried. Okay, up next is policy review. The first one is the library board advocacy policy. Look at me, I got it out pretty good. Beth Rumble, please.
Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. This came to the board last month and is being brought forward for final approval today.
Okay, any questions or comments? No? Okay. Look to the recommended motion that Huron County Library Board receives the report as presented for information, and further that the Huron County Library Board approves as outlined. Do I have a mover and seconder? Moved by Sydney, seconded by Jane. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next is the draft elections policy. Beth Rumble, please.
Thank you again through you, Mr. Chair. Sharing this with the board for a first review, and then any feedback we receive, we can incorporate into a final version that will come to the board next month. This policy is important to just clarify kind of the role of the library and staff with respect to anyone who's running for election, whether they are internal or external to the library, and kind of how those relationships and roles are prescribed. It was brought forward. There's an incomplete sentence in one of those sections, so we will fix that and bring that forward in the version that you see next month as well. I think it was item 2.6.
Okay. Any questions or comments for Beth? Helena?
Questions, have library funds include support from the county, etc., but do they include donations?
Can you explain your question a little bit further?
It was not clear whether that section under libraries resources, which lists library funds, whether donations are included in library funds or whether they're a separate bucket.
So should there be a separate bucket for just donations alone? Is that what you're
Yeah,
asking, Helena?
and it says including funds provided directly to library programs and services, but
And Jenny, do you want to talk? My assumption would be that this is basically a definition for any time you refer to funds future in the
Yeah.
policy, that library funds, including anything that's been donated to the library, wouldn't be used explicitly for
Right.
election purposes.
Yeah.
But let me know if that's.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
that's what,
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. I could add in there, that it includes not just, support received through the county's operating budgets, but also donations, to the library. Cause yeah, it would all be, it should all be included.
it might be better to be very explicit.
And did you have other questions, Helena? Follow-ups or no? Okay. Any other questions from board members? Not seeing any hands. Okay, I'll look for the recommended motion that Huron County Library Board accepts the report as presented for information, and further that the elections policy be brought to the June board meeting for approval. Do I have a mover, please? Moved by John, seconded by Nick. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next is correspondence. There are none. And then the financial statements, which is item 10, are there for everyone's pleasure. Are there any questions regarding the financial statements? Not seeing any hands. Okay, move to the motion that the library board receives the financial statements for the month ending March 31st, 2026 as presented for information. Do I have a mover and seconder, please? Moved by Helena, seconded by John. Okay, all in favor? Carried. There is no close to the public session. And our next meeting is going to be June 17th, 2026 at 9 a.m. I always say this, it's hard to believe that we're going to be coming into June here. We're coming into the May long weekend already. The weather certainly doesn't feel that way, but then again, the May long weekend is never usually nice. So looking for adjournment now. Warden Heifer hasn't even let me get the motion read. His hand is up. So we're going to adjourn at 9:38 a.m. because the warden wants to adjourn. Do we have a seconder to the warden, please? Seconded by Patricia. And I'm sure everyone will raise their hand here. All in favor? All right, Carrie. Good meeting, everyone. Thank you.